The night sky over Earth had never looked so alive. Stars twinkled like scattered diamonds, but among them one light grew larger, brighter and impossible to ignore. From the darkness of deep space, a colossal ship descended, silent yet powerful, casting a silver glow across the city below. People on the streets stopped and stared, their faces pale with awe and fear. Emergency alarms blared, but curiosity rooted them to the ground. This was no ordinary spacecraft. Its design was elegant, organic, almost alive, as if it had grown from the universe itself. From the heart of the ship emerged her, the Queen of the Kalari, a species known across galaxies for their intelligence, power, and mystery. She was taller than any human by several meters, with skin that shimmered like liquid starlight reflecting every color of the cosmos. Her eyes were deep pools of knowledge and curiosity, glowing softly, absorbing every detail of the world she had come to study. Yet beneath her regal aura there was something entirely unexpected. She was curious. Deeply, intensely curious. For centuries she had watched humanity, not just from a distance but through their satellites, probes, and hidden observatories. She had seen humans explore, create, destroy, and love. She had observed wars that tore nations apart, and moments of kindness that healed strangers. And in all this observation, one question burned in her mind, more persistent than any other curiosity she had carried across the stars. What is it like to be human? Intimately human. The Kalari Queen's interest was not born of lust, desire, or conquest. No, she wanted to understand, to feel, to experience what her race had only ever theorized about in texts that spanned thousands of lifetimes. And humans, in all their emotional complexity, were the perfect mystery to unravel. She stepped down from her ship, her movements graceful and deliberate. Her shadow stretched across the streets like a living nightfall. People screamed, some ran, and others simply fell to their knees, overwhelmed by the sight of an alien queen in their midst. Military jets circled overhead, scanning her with weapons raised, unsure whether to fire or retreat. Yet she moved forward without fear. Her gaze was calm, almost tender, and her presence radiated something humans could recognize instantly: curiosity, wonder, and a strange vulnerability. She paused in the middle of the city, absorbing everything. The lights from buildings reflected off her shimmering skin. Children peeked from behind cars, daring to stare, and even the bravest soldiers lowered their weapons, mesmerized. She was magnificent, yes, but more than that, she was alive in a way humans could feel deep in their bones. It was not fear that humans sensed, it was awe. I have traveled across galaxies, through storms of dying stars and fields of black holes, she whispered, her voice soft yet echoing in minds as if speaking directly into their thoughts. I have seen civilizations rise and fall, witnessed countless forms of life, and yet, I wonder? Her words carried no threat, only curiosity. And in that single moment, some humans felt something unfamiliar, a strange pull, a quiet recognition of a mind unlike any they had known. This queen was not here to conquer. She was here to learn, to feel, to understand. She had chosen Earth not by chance, but because of what humans represented: complexity, unpredictability, and the strange, beautiful power of connection. They were fragile, chaotic, and emotional, but also resilient, inventive, and capable of a depth of intimacy no other species had mastered. She wanted to experience that. She wanted to know what it was like to feel. Her first step was to observe humans in their natural world. She watched couples in parks, holding hands, laughing, whispering secrets. Families embraced, and friends shared tears over losses and joys alike. Every small interaction was a revelation. The way humans touched, the way they comforted, the way their eyes spoke without words, all of it fascinated her. She could replicate biological functions, could mimic interactions, but nothing in her lifetime of existence had prepared her for the raw emotion humans expressed so freely. Her curiosity turned into desire, not in a physical way, but in a yearning to understand the connection humans could create. To her, mating was not just reproduction. It was a dance of trust, intimacy, and emotion. And humans carried that dance in their souls. The Queen's presence did not go unnoticed by Alex Ryder, a human astronaut and seasoned explorer. He had encountered alien life before, but nothing as magnificent or as emotionally charged as this. Alex had survived 3 interstellar encounters with Kalari scouts, always returning with stories that sounded unbelievable. But now, standing in front of the Queen herself, He realized that nothing in his experience could prepare him for this. She looked at him with those vast, starlit eyes. Her gaze was probing, tender, and infinitely patient. She did not speak immediately, but he felt the weight of her thought pressing gently against his mind, asking questions he could barely articulate to himself. "I have observed you," she finally said, her voice a melodic whisper, carrying both authority and vulnerability. "I have seen your species from afar, and yet I do not know. I have seen your wars, your art, your triumphs, but I wonder about your closeness. I wonder about intimacy, connection, love. What is it like to mate with humans?" Alex froze. Her words were shocking, but there was no malice, no threat, only a deep, unfiltered curiosity that struck him to the core. He realized she was not speaking of lust or conquest. She wanted to understand humanity, not just biologically, but emotionally, spiritually. And somehow, she wanted him to teach her. Around them, the city held its breath. Helicopters circled, alarms screamed, but all that faded into the background. In that instant, humanity was not fighting for survival or dominance. Humanity was facing the unknown, and one human stood ready to bridge a gap between stars, species, and experiences. The Queen's presence radiated patience. She did not demand, did not threaten. She waited, watching, learning, feeling. And as Alex met her gaze, he realized something extraordinary. This was not an alien invasion. This was a moment of profound connection, the beginning of a story humanity had never told, and an experience the universe had rarely witnessed. "I want to understand," she said again, more softly this time, almost like a confession. "I want to feel what your species feels. Will you help me?" And in that moment, Alex Rider knew that the universe had changed. Humanity had always explored the stars for knowledge, for survival, for discovery, but now it had the chance to teach something deeper. Something uniquely human, something that could touch even a queen from the stars. The night stretched on. The city was quiet, held in awe, and above it all the queen waited, not for power, not for conquest, but for understanding, for connection, for the chance to know what it truly meant to be human. Somewhere deep in her heart, across the infinite distances of space, she felt it, the pull of curiosity, the warmth of human emotion, and the beginning of a journey that would change both species forever. And so, under the endless stars, a queen from beyond the galaxies stood on Earth waiting, wondering, and ready to learn what it meant to touch the human heart. Days passed since the Kalari queen had arrived. The city was both cautious and curious. News spread like wildfire. An alien queen walked among humans, yet she caused no destruction, no fear, only wonder. Scientists, journalists, and government officials watched from a distance, trying to understand her purpose, but she avoided crowds and cameras. She sought something more intimate, more personal, something humans rarely shared even with each other. Alex Rider had been chosen, or rather, he had volunteered to meet her. He had survived alien encounters before, faced life-threatening situations, and had always returned with stories that seemed impossible. Yet standing before the queen now, he felt small, almost childlike. She towered above him, her starlight skin shimmering in the city's glow, and her eyes were filled with curiosity and longing, not just curiosity about the human body, but curiosity about the human soul. "I have watched you for a long time," she said softly, her voice musical, almost vibrating in the air. "I have seen your wars, your art, your laughter, your tears. I have seen your closeness, your bonds, and yet I do not understand. I cannot feel what you feel. I cannot touch what you touch. I want to know." Alex swallowed hard. The words were shocking, intimate, and completely unexpected. His mind raced. What does she mean? How could he explain something so human, so personal, to a being who had never known emotion in the same way humans do? And yet, her gaze was patient, almost pleading, and it was impossible to turn away. "What you ask," Alex began carefully, "is not simple. Being human, being close, it's more than the body. It's feelings, trust, emotion. It's more than what you can see or touch. It's what you share with someone." The queen stepped closer, careful, deliberate, almost reverent. She reached out a hand not to touch him, but to offer connection. "Then show me," she whispered. "Not only the act, but the meaning. Teach me how humans feel." Her words were like a key, unlocking something deep inside Alex. He realized she wasn't asking for conquest or pleasure. She wanted understanding. She wanted to learn about the human heart. And suddenly he knew this was no longer just about curiosity, it was about trust. And trust was rare. Over the following days, Alex spent time with her, in private areas far from prying eyes. They walked through parks at night under the soft glow of streetlights, and she observed him closely. How he smiled, how he hesitated, how he reached out to help a stranger. She watched him comfort a child frightened by the sirens and feel awe when he noticed the first signs of dawn breaking over the city skyline. She is learning, Alex thought, not just observing, feeling. The Queen asked questions, not crude, not invasive, but deeply thoughtful. Why do humans hold hands when words would suffice? She asked one evening as they walked beside a quiet fountain. Why do you kiss even when survival does not demand it? Why do you seek closeness even when danger surrounds you? Alex paused. His heart ached at the simplicity and complexity of the questions. Because it matters. Holding someone, touching someone, it says what words cannot. It tells them they are not alone. It says, I care. I see you. I am here. The Queen considered this carefully, tilting her head, her eyes shimmering with reflected light from the fountain. I see, she said softly. Your species. You find power in vulnerability. That is remarkable. I want to experience it, not just observe it, but truly feel it. Alex's chest tightened. This was unprecedented. Humans had always been cautious about intimacy, guarded about emotions, yet here was a being from the stars asking to share it, to understand it, to trust him with it. He realized then that humanity had always been brave, not because they faced danger, but because they dared to connect, to open their hearts, and to trust. The Queen's curiosity was not satisfied by explanations alone. She wanted to feel. She asked Alex to show her gestures of intimacy, hand-holding, hugs, the simple warmth of leaning against someone. Each demonstration was new to her, yet she learned quickly, absorbing not just mechanics but meaning. She smiled when he laughed, frowned when he frowned, mirrored his emotions as though her body and mind were thirsty for human connection. One night, under the stars atop a quiet rooftop, she turned to him. Alex, I feel your presence. I see your heart. But I still do not understand fully. I want to experience more. Can you guide me? Alex hesitated. This was the moment she had asked for. To guide her, to teach her fully, would require a depth of trust, a willingness to expose the most human parts of himself. His mind flashed with warnings, protocols, consequences, fears, but his heart spoke louder. Humanity was defined by courage, compassion, and connection. And here was a chance to show that to the universe. He nodded slowly. I will, but you must understand. It is not only about the body. It is about emotion, consent, respect, connection. You must be willing to trust me fully. The Queen's eyes softened. I am ready, she whispered. I do not fear. I wish only to learn, to understand, to feel what it is to be human. Over the following days, Alex continued to guide her. They shared simple acts, sitting close, holding hands, leaning into each other's warmth. The Queen was fascinated by the way humans could communicate without words, the silent power of presence, the electricity of trust and touch. She asked about love, about heartbreak, about the moments when humans felt most alive. Alex told her stories, of friendship, of family, of intimate connections that were fleeting yet eternal. With each story, each shared moment, she learned not just about humans, but about humanity itself. She realized that humans were not strong because of weapons or technology. They were strong because of their hearts, because of their willingness to open themselves to pain and joy, to fear and hope to each other. One evening, after a long walk beneath the city lights, she looked at Alex, her eyes reflecting starlight and emotion. I thought I only wanted to know what it is to mate, she admitted softly, almost shyly. But now I realize I want to know you, humanity, the heart, the soul, the courage that lives in your species. Alex smiled, feeling a warmth he had never felt with anyone, human or otherwise. This was why humans were extraordinary. They were fragile, yes, but they dared to trust. They dared to love. They dared to teach even a queen from the stars what it meant to connect, to share, and to feel. And in that moment, he understood something profound. This queen was not here to conquer, to dominate, or to take. She was here to witness the essence of humanity, and in doing so, she had already become a student of their greatest power, their hearts. The city around them was alive with lights and sounds, but on that quiet rooftop above the chaos, a bond was forming, not just between two beings, but between a species and a queen, who had traveled galaxies to understand it. And in the stillness, Alex realized that this journey, this incredible, impossible journey, had only just begun. The queen reached out, her hand brushing his. Not demanding, not forcing, just touching. A silent agreement passed between them, a promise of patience, of learning, of understanding. And as the stars shimmered above, brighter than ever, both human and queen felt something extraordinary. The fragile, unstoppable power of connection. The days grew longer, and the bond between the Kalari queen and Alex Rider deepened. They walked together through quiet streets and hidden gardens, far from the eyes of the curious and the fearful. She had learned much about humans already, their gestures, their emotions, their unspoken connections. But she had yet to truly experience the depth she sought. She wanted to feel, not just observe, to touch, not just mimic. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in oranges and purples, the queen turned to Alex. Her eyes glimmered with starlight and a strange vulnerability he had not seen before. "I wish to feel everything you feel, to know intimacy, trust, and connection in the human way," she said softly, her voice trembling just slightly. "I want to experience it, Alex. Can you help me?" Alex hesitated. His mind raced with warnings and doubts. Humanity had never shared such intimacy with an alien before. There were protocols, consequences, and endless uncertainties. What if others discovered this? What if something went wrong? What if she changed? Yet as he looked at her, he saw something that made him pause all fears, a deep, unguarded curiosity. Her expression was not of desire nor of dominance, but of genuine longing to understand. And he realized that this was no longer about him alone. This was about the very essence of humanity. Could he show her the depth of human connection? Could he teach a queen from the stars what it meant to be human? Taking a deep breath, he nodded. I can guide you," he admitted. "But you must understand. What you seek is not simple. It is more than touch. It is trust, it is emotion. It is connection. You must be willing to give yourself completely as humans do to truly understand it." The queen's gaze softened. "I am ready," she whispered, her voice like a delicate wind through the trees. "I wish to learn. I wish to feel. I trust you." That trust struck Alex profoundly. Humans rarely gave their hearts so openly. And here was a being from across the galaxy, offering hers without hesitation. He felt a mixture of awe, responsibility, and something deeper, something he could not name. It was terrifying, yes, but also extraordinary. Humanity had always been defined by courage, and this was courage on a cosmic scale. They began slowly, cautiously. First with gestures, holding hands, sitting close, letting their shoulders touch. The queen observed everything carefully, her starlit skin shimmering as she mirrored Alex's movements. She marveled at the warmth, the electricity of proximity, and the silent communication that passed between two connected beings. "You humans, you find meaning in the smallest touches," she murmured one night as they sat on a bench overlooking the city. "I never realized how powerful something so simple could be, how it can speak louder than words." Alex smiled gently. "It's not just touch," he explained. "It's intention. It's presence. It's showing someone that they are seen, that they matter, that they are not alone. That's what humans mean when we connect like this." Her eyes glimmered with understanding, and she tried to imitate the subtle human expressions of intimacy. She leaned slightly closer, and he felt the weight of her attention, the intensity of her curiosity, and the sincerity of her desire to learn. It was overwhelming and beautiful. Yet as their bond grew, hesitation lingered in Alex's mind. The world outside was not safe for this kind of connection. Governments, scientists, and military forces were watching. The public feared alien contact, and he knew that if anyone discovered the true nature of their closeness, it could provoke panic, exploitation, or even violence. He voiced his concern gently. "The world isn't ready for this, for us, for what we're doing. People fear what they cannot understand. They will see this connection, and they may not react kindly." The queen studied him, her luminous eyes filled with curiosity and something deeper, compassion. "I have observed fear for centuries," she said softly. I have seen civilizations destroy themselves over misunderstanding, but I have also seen the power of courage and trust. Alex, you carry that power. You are human, and that is why I seek your guidance. Show me how humans face the unknown, not with weapons but with heart. Her words struck him profoundly. Humanity had always survived the impossible, not through brute force but through connection, empathy, and resilience. And here she was, a queen from the stars, acknowledging that. That trust, that recognition was more powerful than any technology or strategy. Over the next days, Alex continued to guide her in human closeness. They practiced simple acts of comfort, sitting together in silence, leaning heads on shoulders, intertwining fingers. Each act was new to the queen, yet she absorbed it eagerly. She laughed when she succeeded in mimicking a human smile, frowned when she failed, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, began to understand the language of human emotion. One evening, Alex told her a story about his childhood, about the first time he felt truly safe in someone else's presence. He spoke of trust, warmth, and the quiet courage it took to let another being in. The queen listened intently, her eyes glistening with what looked like tears. "I understand now," she said softly. "Connection is not just physical. It is the courage to be vulnerable, to show your soul. That is what humans truly share." "That is what I seek," her words humbled him. Humans had always prided themselves on exploration, invention, and survival. But the greatest strength of their species was often overlooked: the willingness to be open, to feel, to trust, to love. And he realized now that by teaching her, he was sharing something uniquely human, something that no technology or starship could replicate. Yet hesitation remained. Every time he looked at her, he felt the weight of responsibility. One wrong step could expose them, cause panic, or even provoke violence. But he also knew this hesitation was part of being human, the very trait she sought to understand. Fear, doubt, and courage intertwined in a delicate dance, and he realized that these emotions were exactly what made the experience authentic. Finally, one night atop a quiet rooftop under a sky full of stars, he spoke again. "I will guide you, but you must understand. This is not just learning. It is trust, respect, and connection. If you are not ready to truly open yourself, we cannot proceed." The queen's luminous eyes softened, and she placed her hand lightly on his arm. "Alex, I am ready. I wish to understand the human heart not just in thought but in feeling. I trust you completely." Her words resonated deeply within him. Humanity had always been defined by courage, compassion, and connection, and now he realized he had the chance to extend that courage across the stars. As they stood together, fingers brushing lightly, hearts open yet hesitant, a new journey began. It was a journey not just of discovery but of trust, of learning and of understanding. And in that quiet moment above the city that slept unaware, Alex Rider felt something extraordinary. Humanity was not just surviving the universe, it was teaching it to feel. The Kaelari queen gazed at him, her expression filled with curiosity, longing, and a silent promise. They were ready to begin, and the universe, vast and indifferent, would witness a connection unlike any it had ever seen. The nights were quiet now, punctuated only by the distant hum of the city below and the occasional whisper of wind across rooftops. The Kaelari queen had learned much about human gestures, smiles, and words, but tonight was different. Tonight she wanted to understand what humans truly meant when they connected. Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and completely. Alex stood beside her, heart steady but mind racing. He could feel her anticipation, a delicate tension that mirrored his own. Teaching her meant showing the deepest parts of humanity, the fragile courage, the unspoken vulnerability, the intimacy that humans rarely shared openly. But he also knew that this was exactly what made humans extraordinary, their willingness to trust, to feel, to risk their hearts. "I am ready," the queen said softly, her eyes glimmering with starlight and something almost human, nervousness. "Show me what it means." "To connect as humans do," Alex nodded. He took her hand gently, feeling the warmth of her touch. Even through the faint shimmer of her alien skin, "It starts with trust," he whispered. "To truly connect, you must open yourself completely. You must let yourself feel without fear, without restraint. That is what humans share when they connect." She tilted her head, absorbing his words, and then leaned slightly closer. Her breath was soft, and the faint hum of her presence filled the space between them. Alex guided her slowly, carefully, showing her how humans use touch to convey emotion. A brush of fingers, a reassuring hold of the hand, a silent leaning on another's shoulder. Each gesture, though simple, carried weight, and she learned it quickly, mirroring his movements with growing understanding. "It is different from observation," she murmured. "I feel something I have never felt before. It is warmth, and yet more than warmth. It is trust." "Exactly," Alex said softly. "It's about being seen, being known, and being accepted." They spent hours practicing these connections, starting with subtle gestures, then moving to more intimate ones. The Queen learned how to read the unspoken language of humans, the way a slight squeeze of the hand could comfort, the way leaning closer could offer reassurance, the way a soft gaze could communicate love without a single word. She laughed when she succeeded, frowned when she struggled, and slowly began to internalize what it meant to feel human emotions deeply. One night, under a sky streaked with the auroras created by her ship's energy interacting with the atmosphere, Alex told her a story from his childhood. He spoke of his first moments of trust with someone who was not family, of the small acts that built love, of the quiet courage it took to let someone in. She listened intently, absorbing each word, each nuance, each emotion. "I see now," she said softly, tears shimmering in her starlit eyes. "Connection is not merely touch or proximity. It is giving oneself entirely, risking vulnerability and sharing your soul with another being. That is what humans do. That is what you have taught me." Alex's chest tightened. Humanity had always been defined by bravery, not the kind that wielded weapons or conquered worlds, but the kind that dared to trust, to love, to open hearts. And here, in this quiet rooftop space above the sleeping city, he realized that by guiding her, he was teaching a queen from the stars what it truly meant to be human. As the days passed, their closeness grew. She learned how to mirror emotions, how to respond not with logic but with empathy. When he laughed, she laughed. When he frowned, she frowned. When he hesitated, she waited patiently, offering silent encouragement. Every action, every reaction became a lesson in humanity, and she absorbed it all with unending curiosity and a rare kind of grace. "You humans are extraordinary," she said one evening, her voice barely above a whisper. "You face uncertainty, fear, and danger constantly. And yet, you still reach out, you still trust. You still love. Even when the world is unkind, you risk your hearts." Alex smiled gently, feeling a warmth he had never felt before. "It's not easy," he admitted, "but it's what makes us who we are. It's our strength." Her eyes shimmered, reflecting both his words and the starlight above. "I thought I sought knowledge of physical intimacy," she whispered. "But now I see the truth. What I seek is the human heart. I seek the courage to be vulnerable, to connect, to trust completely. That is what I desire most." And so, the Queen began to experience what she had only observed for centuries. She learned to lean into him, to share silent moments of comfort, to respond to emotion without calculation. She felt joy, warmth, even a tender ache when she understood the depth of human vulnerability. Every moment became a revelation, and every gesture deepened the bond between them. Alex realized something extraordinary. The universe had given him the chance not only to teach her, but to rediscover the essence of humanity himself. He saw the beauty in small gestures, the power of empathy, the courage in vulnerability. And through her eyes he understood that humanity's greatest strength was not in technology, in war or in conquest, it was in the heart. One night, after a long evening of shared stories and quiet laughter, the Queen turned to him, her eyes glistening. "I thought I came here to learn about the body, about intimacy in the simplest form," she said softly. "But I realize now that the body is only a part. The soul, the heart, the courage to trust and love. That is the essence of humanity. And that, I wish to carry with me always." Alex felt a profound sense of awe. She had traveled across galaxies, witnessed countless civilizations, and yet it was the human heart, something so ordinary yet extraordinary, that captivated her. Humanity had not needed weapons or strategy to impress her. Humanity had simply been itself, open, vulnerable, and courageous. As the night grew quiet, the Queen and Alex sat side by side, hands lightly touching, hearts open to the unspoken connection that had blossomed between them. She leaned slightly closer, resting her head on his shoulder, and for the first time truly felt the depth of human closeness. It was a feeling she could never have predicted, yet one she would carry forever. "I am beginning to understand," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Not just the touch, not just the gesture, but the essence. The courage, the warmth, the love. That is what it means to connect as humans do, and I am grateful. Alex smiled, feeling a warmth that went beyond physical contact. Humanity had faced countless threats, explored countless worlds, yet its true power lay in connection, in empathy, in courage of the heart. And here, in this quiet shared moment, he realized that they had passed that knowledge across species, across galaxies, to a being who had traveled the stars to learn what it meant to feel. And so, the Queen learned, not just gestures or words, but the heartbeat of humanity itself. And in that lesson, she discovered something more extraordinary than any technology, any conquest, any knowledge she had ever possessed: the quiet, unstoppable power of the human heart. The bond between the Kalari Queen and Alex Rider had grown stronger than either of them had imagined. Every day she learned something new about humans, their courage, their warmth, their ability to connect in ways no alien had ever understood. But as their closeness deepened, the world outside became less forgiving. Governments, military forces, and global organizations had noticed the Queen's presence. Drones patrolled the skies, satellites tracked every movement, and intelligence agencies scrambled to understand her intentions. Rumors spread faster than facts. Citizens panicked. They called her a threat, an invader, a being that could destroy humanity if given the chance. Fear, a very human emotion, spread like wildfire. Alex felt the weight of it all pressing down on him. He had grown to trust the Queen, to care for her, and even to share the unspoken intimacy that humanity rarely showed openly. But now he faced a dilemma: protect her and the bond they shared, or obey orders and the caution of a fearful world. Every instinct in his body screamed at him that he had to keep her safe. Humanity could be brave, but fear could be cruel. The Queen sensed his unease. She stood beside him one evening, looking out over the city from a secluded rooftop. "Alex, you're troubled," she said softly.
"Why do humans fight what they do not understand?"
He shook his head, frustration and sorrow mixing in his eyes. "Because fear is stronger than curiosity sometimes. People see you as a threat. They don't see the person, the being I see. They don't understand that you are here to learn, to connect, to experience humanity, not to conquer or destroy." The Queen's luminous eyes reflected the city lights and something deeper: empathy. "I see, your species is brave yet afraid. You protect what you love even when the danger is not yet real. That is admirable." Alex nodded, his jaw tight. "Yes, and sometimes the very things we hold dear, the heart, the soul connection, become vulnerable because of fear. If the world finds out about us, about what we share, it could spark chaos. They might try to separate us, or worse." Her voice softened, almost a whisper, yet it carried a strength that steadied him. "Then we will face it together. I have traveled across galaxies, seen civilizations rise and fall, and yet I have never met a being like you. You carry something rare: courage, compassion, connection. Let us show them what humanity can be, not with weapons, but with heart." Alex felt a swell of pride and fear at the same time. Humanity had always survived the impossible, not through force alone, but through trust, bravery, and empathy. And now he realized that this bond, the bond he shared with the Queen, was a testament to that strength. It was fragile, yes, but stronger than steel, stronger than fear, because it was built on honesty, trust, and mutual respect. The tension outside escalated rapidly. Military jets buzzed the outskirts of the city. Governments issued statements warning citizens to stay indoors. Social media exploded with speculation and fear. Yet the Queen did not panic. She remained calm, almost serene. Her presence a quiet reminder that courage was not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Alex guided her to a secure location, a secluded research facility far from the public eye. Inside, the Queen observed the human response: soldiers preparing for a potential threat, scientists debating strategies, and officials calculating risks. She had witnessed civilizations governed by logic and fear, but never a species so paradoxically fragile and brave, so capable of kindness and destruction at the same time. "You humans are remarkable," she murmured, watching Alex navigate the chaos with steady calm. You fight for what you love, yet you do not always know how. You are vulnerable, and yet that vulnerability is your strength. He smiled faintly, though worry lingered. It is not easy, he admitted, and it is messy. Humanity is rarely perfect. We make mistakes, we panic, we hurt those we care about. But even in our flaws, there is courage, connection, and hope. That is what defines us. The Queen nodded, absorbing every word, every gesture, every breath. She reached out, lightly touching his arm, a silent reassurance. Then I will stand with you. Let the world judge, fear, or misunderstand. I will see what you see. I will trust what you trust. And together, we will face what comes. Her words filled him with a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity had always been defined by its ability to face uncertainty with heart and intelligence. Now, he realized, they had an opportunity to teach that lesson to a queen who had traveled the stars to understand it. The tension escalated further when a drone squadron entered the city airspace, scanning for unusual energy signatures. The Queen noticed immediately. Her body shimmered faintly, the Kailari's natural defense system activating, yet she suppressed it at Alex's side. Do you wish to defend yourself? He asked quietly. No, she replied softly. Not yet. Let them see. Let them understand first. Let us show them humanity through action, not destruction. Alex felt the weight of her decision. Most species would have reacted with overwhelming force. She chose restraint. She chose trust. That choice alone was teaching him something he had not realized before. The universe did not need power to command respect. It needed courage, empathy, and the willingness to protect what is precious. Later that night, they sat together in the quiet facility, watching the city lights flicker below. Outside, fear raged, but inside, a calm understanding grew between them. The Queen rested her head on his shoulder, and Alex felt the steady beat of her alien heart, or at least the rhythm she shared as she learned to mirror human closeness. I am beginning to understand, she said softly. Connection is not about safety. It is about choice. You choose to trust even when the world is uncertain. You choose to protect, even when the outcome is unknown. That is what I desire to feel, to understand, to carry with me. Alex nodded, swallowing hard. Humanity had survived countless threats, explored countless worlds, and faced countless unknowns. And yet, in this moment, he realized that their greatest strength was not their weapons, not their technology, not even their intelligence. It was their hearts. Their courage to feel, to trust, to connect. As the night stretched on, they planned quietly, preparing for the scrutiny and fear that would inevitably come. But within their shared space, a bond had been forged stronger than any misunderstanding, stronger than any external threat. They had faced fear and uncertainty together, and in doing so, they had discovered the true meaning of human resilience. The world outside could panic, could misunderstand, could even attempt to interfere. But the Queen and Alex knew the truth. The heart of humanity, its courage and its ability to trust and connect, was stronger than any fear. And together, they would show that power, not with weapons, but with the quiet, unstoppable strength of the human spirit. And in that understanding, the Kailari Queen smiled, a genuine, warm, human-like smile. And Alex knew, for the first time, that even across galaxies, humanity had made its mark. Not through conquest, not through force, but through courage, connection, and heart. The quiet of the hidden facility allowed them to breathe, to focus on each other, and to explore the delicate threads of connection that had grown between them. The world outside still feared, still watched, but inside, there was only the present, the shared heartbeat of human trust and alien curiosity intertwining. Alex had guided the Queen through the gestures, the words, the subtle touches that humans used to connect. Now it was time for her to truly experience it, to feel the warmth, the comfort, the profound vulnerability that made human intimacy so extraordinary. She looked at him, her eyes wide, glowing softly like distant stars. I wish to understand fully, she whispered. I want to experience what humans feel when they connect. Completely. Alex nodded, a mixture of anticipation and tenderness in his expression. It's not just touch, he reminded her gently. It's presence. It's trust. It's sharing yourself without holding back, knowing that the other respects you, cares for you, and will protect you. She absorbed every word, every nuance, and slowly, she began. She leaned closer, her movements careful and deliberate. Her alien senses, sharper than human, detected every heartbeat, every subtle shift of emotion. She trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the intensity of feeling. For the first time, she understood what it meant to share space with someone fully, emotionally and physically. Alex took her hand, intertwining their fingers. The warmth of human touch spread through her and she shivered, marveling at the sensation. "It is different from observation," she murmured, voice soft and awed. "I feel warmth, yes, but more than that. I feel trust, courage, and something infinite." "That is connection," Alex replied quietly. "It is the heart speaking without words. It is courage, vulnerability, and acceptance." They moved slowly together, learning, exploring, discovering. Every small gesture became a lesson. The tilt of a head, the gentle brush of fingertips, the silent reassurance of leaning into each other. The Queen was eager, absorbing everything with a brilliance that surprised even Alex. She laughed softly when she learned a subtle human expression, frowned when she struggled, and smiled triumphantly when she finally mirrored a gesture perfectly. "I never imagined," she said one night, her head resting lightly on his shoulder, "that the universe could contain something so fragile and so powerful at the same time. Humans, you are extraordinary. Your hearts, they are incredible." Alex smiled faintly, feeling warmth that went beyond touch. Humanity had always survived the impossible, faced countless threats, and explored the stars. But the greatest power of his species was rarely counted among technology or weapons. It was courage, empathy, and the willingness to open one's heart completely. And here, in this quiet moment with a queen who had seen galaxies, he realized that humans' true strength had never been so evident. The Queen's transformation was not just emotional. She began to mirror the subtleties of human expression with astonishing accuracy. Her laughter became soft and genuine, carrying joy. Her silence became reflective, communicating empathy. Her presence became comforting, radiating warmth even in stillness. She experienced what humans called love, not just the physical expression, but the emotional tapestry that wove vulnerability, trust, respect, and shared joy together. "I understand now," she whispered, her voice trembling with awe. "I thought I wished to know intimacy, but what I truly desired was humanity itself. Your courage, your openness, your willingness to feel even when it is risky. That is what I sought." Alex felt a lump in his throat. Humans were resilient, yes, but he realized something extraordinary. To teach an alien queen the depth of human emotion, to guide her without judgment, to open her to vulnerability and courage, this was humanity at its finest. They did not need weapons. They did not need conquest. They needed heart. And he had just witnessed the universe learning it firsthand. As the nights passed, their connection deepened further. They shared quiet moments of laughter, comforted each other during emotional confessions, and explored the silent, powerful language of touch. Every heartbeat, every shared glance, every gentle hold became a revelation. The Queen marveled at the human capacity to express emotion through small, seemingly insignificant gestures, and she felt something she had never felt before: belonging. "You humans," she said softly one night, gazing at him with awe, "carry your universe within yourselves. Your hearts, they are infinite. I have traveled galaxies, seen civilizations rise and fall, yet none have taught me what your species has shown me in these days. Courage, trust, vulnerability, love, all in one heartbeat." Alex smiled, feeling warmth spread through him. Humanity had survived the impossible countless times, but its true power was often overlooked. It was not the weapons, not the technology. It was the willingness to feel, to trust, to connect, to protect. And here, in this quiet room with a being from the stars, that power had become undeniable. The Queen leaned closer, her head resting gently on his shoulder. "I am beginning to feel what it is to be human," she whispered. "Not just to observe, not just to imitate, but to truly experience. Your species, it is remarkable." Alex took a deep breath, his hand brushing lightly against hers. "It's not easy," he admitted. "It takes courage to trust. It takes strength to open your heart fully. But once you do, it's worth everything." And the Queen understood. She had faced countless worlds, navigated countless cultures, and studied countless civilizations, yet this human experience, was unlike anything she had ever known. It was raw, emotional, and profoundly beautiful. It was connection in its purest form. For the first time, she experienced true intimacy, the blending of trust, respect, vulnerability, and warmth. It was not just physical. It was emotional, spiritual, and infinitely human. She trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the overwhelming depth of feeling. I have never felt anything like this, she whispered, voice barely audible. Not across galaxies, not in any civilization. Only with you, Alex. You have shown me what it is to truly feel, to be human. Alex smiled, overwhelmed by the weight of the moment. Humanity had always been defined by courage, empathy, and heart. And here, in guiding her, he realized that the true essence of his species had never been clearer. They had survived the impossible not through strength or weapons, but through the courage to trust, the courage to connect, and the courage to feel. The Queen lifted her head slightly, meeting his gaze. I will carry this with me, she whispered. Your species, your heart, it has changed me. I will remember this forever. Alex nodded, feeling a swell of pride and emotion. Humanity had reached across the stars and touched a queen's heart, not with power, but with trust, courage, and connection. And in that moment, both human and alien understood something extraordinary. True strength was found in vulnerability, empathy, and love. They remained there long into the night, hearts aligned, sharing quiet moments of understanding and warmth. The Queen had transformed, not just in understanding human gestures, but in feeling humanity itself. And Alex realized that this connection, delicate and profound, was a testament to the very best of his species, the unstoppable, courageous heart of humanity. In the stillness, the Queen whispered again, her voice soft and filled with awe. I am human, not in form, not in origin, but in feeling. And it is beautiful. Alex smiled, holding her hand gently. Humanity had not only survived the unknown, they had taught it to feel. The city outside was restless. Rumors of the Kalari Queen had reached every corner, and fear simmered among governments, media, and the public. But within the quiet facility, Alex Rider and the Queen were untouched by panic. They had faced the unknown together and discovered a truth far greater than any political tension, any weapon, any threat, the heart of humanity. The Queen had learned more than gestures or physical closeness. She had learned the very essence of human connection: trust, vulnerability, courage, and love. Every small act, every glance, every heartbeat had taught her something profound. She had transformed not in appearance but in understanding. She felt human, not because she was born to be, but because she had experienced what it truly meant to feel. Alex watched her carefully, seeing the soft glow of comprehension in her starlit eyes. You've changed, he said softly, a mixture of awe and tenderness in his voice. Not just in understanding, but in feeling. You've become human in the way that matters most. The Queen smiled faintly, a warmth spreading through her alien form. It is because of you, she whispered. Because you trusted me. Because you guided me. Because you shared yourself fully. Humanity is stronger than I imagined. Not because of power or weapons, but because of the courage to connect, to care, to trust, to love. Alex felt a lump in his throat. Humanity had survived countless threats, traversed uncountable worlds, and faced impossible odds. Yet he realized now that the greatest triumph of his species was never in conquest or technology. It was in the heart, in their ability to reach across fear, across distance, across species, and forge bonds that could transcend even the stars. Suddenly, the facility's communications activated. Distant voices, stern and alarmed, filtered through the speakers. Alex Rider, this is Global Command. Cease contact immediately. The alien queen is a threat. She must be contained. Alex's chest tightened. He had feared this moment. The world did not understand what they had shared, what they had built. They saw only an alien, a queen, a potential danger. Not the bond that had formed, not the lessons they had learned together. The Queen reached out, her hand resting lightly on his arm. Do not fear, she said softly. Humans are capable of great courage. You have shown me. We will face them together. With heart, not violence, he nodded, determination rising. Humanity had always faced impossible odds, and this was no different. But this time the fight was not for survival. It was for understanding, for recognition, for the truth of what it meant to be human. Alex stood tall, speaking into the communicator. The Queen is not a threat. She has come to learn, to understand, to experience humanity. You are looking at the proof. Trust, courage, empathy, these are our strengths. Not weapons. Not technology. Heart. There was silence on the other end, followed by cautious murmurs. The world was afraid, yes, but perhaps it could learn. Perhaps it could see what Alex had seen. That the power of humans lay not in domination, but in connection. Meanwhile, the Queen observed quietly. Her heart, or whatever mirrored it in her alien physiology, beat in rhythm with his. She had learned something that no alien had ever grasped fully. The human capacity to trust, to forgive, to open oneself to another being completely, despite fear or uncertainty. You have shown me the true power of your species, she said softly. I have traveled galaxies, seen empires rise and fall, yet none compare to the courage in your hearts. This is why I sought you. Alex smiled, feeling warmth spread through him. The Queen had not come to conquer. She had come to learn. And in learning, she had discovered something even humans sometimes